golf fans, it's your boy Luke here for our round 3 prize picks targets for this week's RBC Canadian Open. I wasn't sure if we were going to do this video. I've been feeling pretty sick the last day here myself, but decided to suck it up, especially after we hit there on day 1. I wasn't able to put out a video today, and I can't help but think that's why we didn't end up hitting. So want to get back on the train, bring you guys my reasoning and research here for the third round. And in this video, going to be covering my top 5 props for tomorrow. 4 of them are going to be for the PGA Tour, for the RBC Canadian Open, and then we have 1 extra LIV golf prop to cap it all off here for tomorrow's slate. So I apologize for the lack of content yesterday, just really wasn't able to go and bring it to you guys, but excited to be able to bring you here something for tomorrow. All right, so we'll start it with some quick research. The golf course is playing just about as difficult as we would have expected. And in going into the week, I thought I was going to play right around a stroke, maybe 2 strokes over par. And through the first 2 days, that's exactly what we've gone. So it played right around 1.63 shots on day 1, and today it was 1.59 shots over par. Now, granted, a lot of the lower quality players have been cut out of the field with the cut line. I'd still expect it to play difficult, though, at least a shot over par, because these greens are going to continue to get firmer and faster throughout the weekend, as we see every single week on the PGA Tour, as well as some potential weather over the weekend. So let's talk about that. Let's bring up the wind forecast, which it isn't really wind that we're worried about. It's more actual rain. This is Windfinder, which has a little bit of rain coming around 5 to 6 p.m. In fact, quite significant rain around 4 to 5 p.m. But among a lot of the other weather sites, they have it coming in as early as right around 12 to right around 2 to 3 p.m. So it's all over the board there. But in either circumstance, there's rain in the forecast there sometime in the afternoon. So I would expect that to impact the leaders, anyone teeing off towards the middle or later half of the day. So if I'm trying to target any specific tee times tomorrow, it's going to be the guys that are teeing off as early as possible into the morning. Of course, the trade-off there is that they're playing a little bit lower quality golf. There's a reason why they're teeing off in the morning as opposed to the leaders that are teeing off towards the later half of the day. But if you're going to make any tiebreakers, try and really hone down on any one pick, I think that could be a way to do so. So with that being said, what are the props that I'm looking at? So let's start over with the birdie or better matchup props. And we're going to start off with Sam Burns, who this is my favorite prop on the slate by far. It's a matchup between Sam Burns and Jim Nance. And Jim Nance, you're probably going, who the heck is that? And I wouldn't blame you for saying that, because he is over 1,000 in the official World Golf Rankings. The only time I would have expected you to see him before this week was during the fall swing. He had one solid event, was first round leader after day 1, and then completely disappeared there in one of the lower quality events. And I can't even remember the name of the event off the top of my head. I mean, that's how irrelevant he is on the PGA Tour at this point. And while he's made 13 birdies through the first 2 days, I would not expect that to continue. I mean, he's obviously played well above his baseline, and through the first 2 rounds, he's gained over 5 strokes to the field with his putting. Now, granted, that's actually not even number 1 in the field. That right is reserved for Austin Cook, who's gained almost 6 strokes to the field putting through 2 days. But he's number 2 in the field, right? That should give you an idea of exactly how well he's rolling the ball. And up against Sam Burns, who even hasn't had his best stuff, is still making birdies. This has made 8 birdies through the first 2 rounds. Tomorrow I have Sam projected for closer to 4.5 birdies, which his birdie prop is there at 4, but I'd much rather get exposure here where he doesn't even have to get to 4 to hit. I mean, realistically, Sam Burns could win this matchup tomorrow by making just 3 birdies, maybe even 2 birdies if Jim Nance has a very, I should say, even typical day for his skill set. I mean, he's over 1,000 in the official World Golf Rankings for a reason. So, and while these are professional golfers, they could certainly go out and have the day that he has over the first 2 rounds. It's not likely that he does that 3 days in a row. So that's why I really like the prop as much as I do, and why it'll be on all of my cards for tomorrow. Next up, we have Cameron Smith. I'm taking the over on his matchup as well, and this time is against Johnny Vegas. And if you guys tailed the card that I just put on the channel yesterday, it wasn't a video or anything, just a post under the community section, you saw that we had the Justin Thomas Johnny Vegas prop, which didn't end up hitting, ended up being a push for us there, but I would take it 99 out of 100 times. I mean, you're talking about an elite level birdie player, whether it's Justin Thomas or in this case, Cameron Smith, against somebody in Johnny Vegas who's still returning from injury. He had shoulder surgery just over 2.5 months ago, and this is his 3rd start back on tour. And while he's had plenty of success early back, it hasn't been consistent success. He's had flashes of greatness on pretty much every start so far, mixed in with pretty middling rounds. And through the first 2 rounds, he has certainly been, Jekyll and Hyde. He's been really solid like he was today, making 3 birdies. But on day 1, he shot over par, was very inconsistent. I would expect him to return to that type of mold where he's a little bit rusty since he hasn't been playing all that type of golf. Whereas you have guys like Cam Smith, Justin Thomas, who are among the best form of anyone you could imagine. I mean, JT, right, won the PGA Championship. Cameron Smith here is coming in off an insane year, multiple wins. I mean, last time out, maybe not his best golf at the PGA Championship, but still obviously getting the job done. I mean, for the first 3 days at the PGA Championship, he was in second place. So I think we cut him a little bit of slack there. So I have Cameron Smith projected for 4.7 birdies, more than Sam Burns there. The kicker, the reason why it's not my favorite prop is because Johnny Vegas, a much higher quality player than Jim Nance, right? So Johnny Vegas projects for closer to 3.9 birdies as opposed to something in that 2.8, 2.9 range for Jim Nance, but still a prop that I'm more than confident enough getting to. And now let's talk about 2 of these strokes props. So I'm taking JT, as we just talked about. So obviously, with how well he's been playing, I'm going to be on him. And same thing with Scotty Scheffler. So 2 guys at the top of the board. JT gets the benefit of playing a little bit earlier in the day. Same thing with Cameron Smith. He's getting that same type of advantage. And one thing I'll say about Jim Nance and Sam Burns is because they're both at the top of the leaderboard, both of them have to deal with the adverse conditions, right? So it's not like one of them gets the advantage and one of them doesn't. Whereas with Justin Thomas, he's not a matchup prop, right? He's playing in the morning. We are able to take advantage of the easier conditions. So I like that aspect of the prop. I like the fact that he's not putting the ball well through the first 2 days, which might seem counterintuitive, except that you consider that putting is the most volatile stat. It's the most likely to bounce back day to day on the PGA Tour. The ball striking, the tee to green play, is the more consistent category, the thing that's harder to turn around in just like a 12 to 24 hour period. So for Justin Thomas, if he continues to hit the ball like he has, which has been extremely solid through the first 2 days, it just improves the putter, which we've seen over the last 2 to 3 months. Obviously at the PGA, the putter was pretty rock solid for JT. You could see a huge day tomorrow. And just to shoot 2 under par, I think that's more than reasonable for a JT at this golf course. And same thing with Scotty Scheffler. Scheffler, I didn't have a ton of exposure this week, but it made perfect sense. It's a difficult golf course. He tends to thrive the harder conditions get, and that's because of how well-rounded he is. And today, he was rock solid with the approach play. Day 1, rock solid with the approach play. Just a little bit sharper with the putter today than he was on Thursday. And on Thursday, it was a 1 under round. It was 3 under par today, and that was despite making multiple bogeys in each round. If he's just a little bit more consistent, cleans up that sloppy play just a little bit, he could very easily shoot 3 to 4 under par. And with both of these picks here on strokes, I'm extremely confident in them at least pushing tomorrow, if not hitting the under for us, as I have first off Scotty Scheffler projected for 67.1 strokes and JT projected for 67.2 strokes. Very close with the projections there, and both comfortably below the projection that we have them at. And now lastly, let's go to the LIV golf prop. So going to go over to the golf tab here. You can see it's Phil Mickelson under 71.5 strokes. Day 1, he shot -1 at the LIV Golf, which is a 69 at this golf course. Today, not so hot. Shot 5 over par, completely, moved himself down the leaderboard. But if any round was going to be rusty from Phil, it was going to be Thursday. So I'm not really worried about the performance today. It's more than likely just a bad round. And from what we could see on TV, it was a few unlucky breaks off the tee, a few unlucky breaks around the green, a few putts that should have dropped that ended up lipping out for the lefty. And in general, I'd expect him to bounce back. I mean, this is his flagship tour at this point. I mean, he's one of the flagship players, and we know he's going to be in the center of attention. And granted, there's a few other guys at like 4 or 5 over par that might not care all that much tomorrow. Again, it's a no-cut event. They're going to get paid regardless. Phil Mickelson, he's going to be engaged because all the eyes are on him. He's getting paid a lot to represent that tour, and I would not expect him to take his foot off the gas, especially considering that the U.S. Open is next week, and that's the last tournament he needs for the career Grand Slam. So obviously he's going to be trying to find something for that event. So given that he has a little bit of extra motivation there compared to some of the other players in the field, somebody I'm expecting to bounce back, right? If he goes out there, is even one worse than what he shot there on Thursday, would shoot a 70, would be comfortably under, and could even shoot 2 shots worse than what he shot there on Thursday and end up hitting the under for us at 71 strokes. All right, that's all I've got for the round 3 picks. Before you hop on out of here, let me know what your favorite prop on the board is in the comments, and also make sure you smash the like button. I appreciate all the support here on the channel. I'm going to try to do a video for round 4. hopefully should feel a little bit better tomorrow, I'd imagine, right? That's usually how these stomach bugs tend to work. But in either circumstance, I appreciate all the support here, guys. I'll see you guys next time, and best of luck with all of your slips here for tomorrow.